For talking with us at this very difficult time, clearly. And we understand that one suspect is now in custody after this deadly shooting took the lives of 3 people. Officials say they believe another shooter is on the run. How long will it likely take, do you think, for investigators to determine the motive and whether this was terrorism, a gang dispute or something else? Because we understand from listening to that news conference, at least, that they seem to think it was 2 people shooting at each other. Is that your takeaway?
That is my takeaway. I was reading between the lines there, watching that press conference. I think it's going to be crime or gang-related shooting, and unfortunately, it happened at this very popular location where there's a bite of Seattle, 100,000 people a day going just to enjoy, a food festival and the crowds in the nice city of Seattle. Certainly problematic. One thing interesting that the assistant police chief said was there are witnesses out there, but he needs them to come forward. So that's a big part of the problem. People may be nervous to say what they saw or tell law enforcement what they know, but they've got to pick up the phone and call law enforcement to help locate that other shooter, because that other shooter, if alleged other shooter out there, he could certainly still be a dangerous person, so needs to be found, identified, and arrested.
Yeah, and of course it's very difficult, isn't it, in the midst of the chaos and confusion for witnesses to come up with some of these details. But I want to ask you about how difficult it is to secure and protect soft targets like this, and how would you assess the level of security and police response at this festival when the shooting took place?
Well, I think the police response, when they evaluate that in what's called an AAR, or after action report, and they'll do that very quickly to see how the police did. I think that's going to come out very well. They are on scene. They ran to the sound of gunfire. They were able to get people into ambulances, first responders, fire departments, were all on scene immediately. They have found and identified and arrested somebody on scene, it sounds like. So police were, on top of things. But as far as the first part of your question, hardening or preparing these soft targets against these kind of events, my goodness, we wish there was an answer, an easy answer to do that. But when you have this many people coming through these kind of areas, it's very difficult. You can't really have the magnetometers. You can't have such choke points where people are just relegated to coming through, a few separate entrances. When you have 100,000 people coming through and enjoying the day, you don't want to stop that activity by making the security so rigid that people are uncomfortable. But at the same time, people want to feel protected and safe when they go to these events. So that's that tricky, balance that law enforcement and community leaders have to find to keep their cities going, to keep them safe and not let this happen.
Yeah, and of course it helps that a suspect is in custody. So that should speed the situation along and presumably get them to the other suspect. What's the process there?
Well, the process there is they brought in the detectives, they brought in the crime scene analysis. They've got Seattle police, FBI, state police, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. So they'll do this large investigation. They'll do what's called a canvass. They'll go and ask everybody they can. They'll search for video. If you jump online right now, you can see all kinds of social media posts, with video. So they'll want to collect that, analyze it, see what they can find out there. You're right, they're interviewing that first suspect. They may or may not be willing to talk. If this was indeed some sort of battle between these 2 people, one of them, the one in custody, may have that information that he may be willing to share with law enforcement, may not, depends what their attorney says. But my guess is they're going to get that lead in a matter of hours or most days, and be able to track down this second alleged shooter and find them and arrest them.
Let's hope that happens. Richard Kolko, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it.